Fellas, I don't think y'all really realize how suspect and how sassy y'all look. Because a lot of you troll women for being a single mom, as if they just the scum of the earth, just all to be damned. You troll women for being successful, having a decent career, as if they should be penalized for their success. They're deemed as too masculine, too independent, and it doesn't create space for you to step up and feel needed. You shame women 30, 35, or 40 that happen to be single in a way where it's like, something wrong with her. She shouldn't be single at this age. She hit the wall. That's corny. Or you shame women that's young in their prime because now you got to question their faithfulness or their loyalty. Man, she probably gonna use you, man. She probably just want the bag. She probably just set you up. What do you like, fellas? What do you want? Because it damn sure don't sound like you want a woman. So you got to ask yourself, do you really want to be with a woman? Or do you really need to figure this thing out for your sexuality? Because that's ungodly sassiness from a lot of men that I see today.
Interesting.
I know this conversation has been hit so many times, but I'm going to offer my perspective. And I feel like women have gotten so caught up in trying to compare and compete with men to the point where I think women have lost their way and women don't understand what their actual assignment is. I think so many women are first of all, ladies, money does not make us more valuable. Okay, that's something that you guys created for men. Men becomes more valuable the more money they make, because why? Women want men with money and more money and more money. That's why y'all quick to say my man has to be making at least 6 figures and all of this nonsense. I've never heard a man say, yeah, my woman, she gotta be making at least 6 figures or I don't want her. So while y'all are so busy trying to chase more money so that you can compete and compare and contrast with men and show men, yeah, you got money, I got money too, and that does not make you more valuable. The things that make us valuable as women are the things that we don't work on. You guys are so busy trying to prove to men that you got it, and it's like, then y'all wake up one day and realize that even as a successful woman, even as a woman who's making 6 figures, even as a woman who has her own business, her own car, nice living, lifestyle, whatever, y'all are confused as to why you still can't capture those top tier men or those top 10% men. It's because men with money are not looking for women with money. Men have told women time and time again, we don't care how much money y'all make, yet y'all still trying to make the money so that you can show the man that I got the money and now you gotta have the money. Well, I make 6 figures, so he needs to be making at least 7. None of this stuff that y'all are coming up with it doesn't make any sense. That's why so many women are still single when they're at the top. It's not because y'all don't want to settle. It's simply because there's nobody up there for y'all. Everybody is just out of their lane. There's nothing wrong with 6s being 6, but you got the people that's 6s that's trying to get all these other things that does not make them any more valuable than a 6. You can be a 6 physically. And just because you go capture a bunch of money and a bunch of other stuff as a woman does not make you a 10. But y'all don't get that. And it's hard to say that. That's the harsh reality. But the reality of it is if you're a 6, just be the best 6 you can be. Because now you're a 6 looking for a 10, and a 10 ain't looking for a 6. Your money does not make you valuable. Your money does not make you better. It doesn't. Not for a man, not to a man. You telling us that we should settle. You're basically telling us that we can't want what we want. I'm not saying you gotta settle, but I am saying that you are what you are. And regardless to what it is that you think you want or what it is that you think you deserve, men are the ones that get the pick at the end of the day. Y'all are trying to be picked by men. Men is not walking around trying to be picked by women, because women is going to be there, especially if they got the 6 figures that they know all of y'all chasing behind. Well, I got 6 figures too. It doesn't matter. If you're a 6, then you're still a 6 with 6 figures. Men are looking for physical women who are just those beautiful looking women. It doesn't matter if you have 6 figures. You're a 6-figure 6. Not to mention, most of the women who make their own money come with nasty attitudes, nasty energy, nasty spirits. So y'all work so hard to get this money, something that a man is not even asking for from a woman to begin with. So that still leaves a lot of y'all at the bottom, and y'all don't understand why. But I got everything. I got everything I need. I'm independent. They don't want an independent woman because come along with an independent woman comes that nasty spirit. And another thing, a 6 is not a bad thing. I don't know why everybody feels as though they need to be at the top, need to be a 10. And there's nothing wrong with just being a person that was born average looking, and now you just want to be the best in your lane. Everybody is not a 10 physically. I don't care what you add to your physicality. Everybody is not at the top, and that's okay. Well, Chevy, what would you rate yourself? Probably like a 6, because Kevin Samuel said not to touch a 7. And then when you start talking about 8s and 9s and 10s, now you're talking about women that were born just, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with claiming the lane that you're in and just simply executing the lane that you're in. But everybody thinks that they deserve more than what they are. I'm going to end it like this. A lot of women are just simply going to be single with y'all 6-figure making selves. And before y'all say, I don't care, we don't need no man, we ain't pressed the man, we can do it on our own, and all that sound real cute, but that's not what Taraji is saying, and that's not what Vivica A. Fox just said either. Them people is knocking on 50 and 60 years old, and after they found out that all the success in the world becomes lonely, and they do want partnership with a man, now here they are saying, where's our husband? So, ladies, we have an assignment, and our assignment is not to compete and try to be like men. It's to be their helper, to still be independent, self-sufficient, while still doing what we need to be doing as women. That's it. That's all. Tired of hearing about the conversation in general, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
There are 5 things that a woman or a wife needs in order to be happy in a relationship. 1, affection. Her definition of affection, not your definition. Not every woman wants cars, and not every woman wants flowers. Number 2, she has a need to be able to communicate with her husband. Men need more sex, but women need more communication and affection. So communication is the second one. Number 3, she has a need for her husband to be honest and open with her at all times. That's extremely important for a woman. Number 4, there is a need that is met in a woman when the husband is a really, really good father. It meets a strong need on the inside of her. And number 5, there's a great need that is met in a woman when she feels secure. Women need to feel secure in the relationship. They don't want you to blame things on them. They don't want you to run out when you quit your job. All of those things are important to a woman. Find out what your wife needs so that you can make her happy.
There's a certain brand of feminism these days that seems less about equality and more about turning men into punching bags for every perceived societal issue. Nothing a man does is ever right. If he's too confident, that's toxic. If he's not confident enough, he's weak. It's a constant game of let's find something wrong with him, and when they sit around wondering why no decent guy wants to stick around, maybe that's it. The real kicker, they act shocked that they're single, as if criticizing men nonstop is an aphrodisiac. Let's talk about her hobbies versus his. If a guy's into sports, it's toxic masculinity. If he plays video games, grow up. But they'll turn around and drop $400 on crystals and sage because they read in their horoscope that Mercury's in retrograde and that's why their life's a disaster. It's gotta be the stars, the moon, or their rising sign that makes it hard to find the right guy. But maybe it's not the planets that are the problem. They say they don't need a man because they're an independent woman. But maybe they don't need you because you're self-righteous. They want a guy who's a millionaire but isn't materialistic, who's ripped but doesn't spend time in the gym. Stop being so vain. Basically, they're looking for some mythological creature who will bake cupcakes with them while crying over the Notebook together. He's as real as your ability to manifest a personality. And if you somehow manage to survive that minefield, good luck being a gentleman. Hold the door open, you're a sexist. Don't hold the door, you're scum. It's like they've turned basic decency into a lose-lose situation where no matter what a guy does, it's wrong. Then they cry about how there are no good men left, as if they didn't spend the last decade making every decent guy feel like he's trapped in a psychological obstacle course when they open a car door for you. They love to drop the line, men are just intimidated by strong women. Yeah, I'm sure guys aren't running because you're exhausting and entitled. You're not intimidating. Keep telling yourself that while you sip your matcha latte alone with your planets and star charts waiting for the right man who will never show up. Maybe the problem isn't that men are scared of your power or that the planets are out of alignment. Maybe the issue is you've set the bar at an impossible height and refuse to see the comfort that comes from someone who leads the household. At the end of the day, men aren't bowing out because they're scared of you. They're just tired of playing a game they'll never win.
You can't
come into a woman's life and make things harder and expect for her to submit and want to depend on you and trust you. Your job is to make things easier, make it safer, make it funner, make it healthier, make it more loving. If you ain't adding, you are subtracting. And listen, as much as y'all hate women saying, I don't need a man, I want a man. Well, that's why. Because there are women that will rather do it all by themselves than to have to work harder in the relationship to get half as far. You ain't even a teammate. You can't come into a woman's life and make things harder.
When you do something for your spouse, because you're expecting a response back, that means you're in a transactional relationship. If you're in a relationship that's a covenant relationship and you just show up because that's what God called you to be, then that's a relationship that can stand the test of time. So if you've ever been in your relationship and you've stopped talking to your spouse, like you've given them the silent treatment, or you've stopped doing something that was kind because your spouse didn't show up right, or because they didn't thank you, or because they didn't recognize something that you've done, you are in a transactional relationship. That means they have to do something for you before you can show up the way you're supposed to. And that's where things go wrong.
Feminine or submissive toward them. This is what. Let's be real. Too many men today bring nothing to the table, yet are quick to get sassy when a woman won't be feminine or submissive toward them. This is why so many women are single. They are tired of having to be both the man and the woman in the relationship. If she has to take care of herself and you plan everything, cover the bills, manage the house, and be her own emotional and physical support, she'll choose to stay single. It's wild that men with mama's boy syndrome and feminine tendencies have the audacity to consider themselves the prize, then call women masculine when they refuse to do everything on their terms. So no, she's not masculine. She's adapting to survive and become the protector, provider, and leader that you couldn't be.
These women are spoiled. These women want to be the woman and the man. They want you to take care of them like a man, and then in return, they want to wear the pants like they the man.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm taking care of you for you to wear the pants. You telling me you don't cook, don't clean, don't shut up, but you want me to buy you gifts, pay all your bills, and eat your pussy.
And they complain.
I can't complain. In their mind, subconsciously, they think that they can always find better. They think that every nigga is replaceable because in a DM, I had a girl one time tell me, she said, I got like $1.3 billion worth of niggas in my DM. And when I tell you she humbled me, I was sitting up next to that woman when she said that I did like this. I'm not saying that makes them have options because all the niggas in their DM, because all the niggas ain't gonna do what they want them to do.
Exactly.
But in their mind, they think a nigga can't tell me nothing.
And they basically got a nigga, but they making him respect.
But they not knowing that all the niggas in that DM ain't coming with no cash.
They coming like, I'm
want
famous.
I'm who I am.
Exactly.
And these bitches be so groupied out that they would shit on a good nigga. They might have a nigga worth $500,000 that does everything for them, and a nigga worth $500 million that don't do nothing for them, and they'll go fuck that nigga for that got the $500 million and get nothing, and betray the nigga who got that $500,000.
And then after he shit on him, she gonna come back and get mad at you
because she got shit on.
I would've went to go do that if you would've like.
A narcissist will come to your life to show you that you don't see your own value, and you're probably taking yourself for granted. A weak man will come to your life to show you that you're probably in your masculine energy, and therefore, you probably don't recharge properly. A greedy man will come to your life to show you that you don't prioritize yourself and don't believe you deserve much. An emotionally absent man will come to your life to show you that you are still not giving yourself the love that you so need and crave.
If you have to convince a sister, a woman, that you are a good option, that you're her best option, right? By jumping through hoops, by proving yourself, by buying her stuff, by telling her what she wants to hear, she's not the one for you. That's what I tell my sons. Why do I say that? Because She clearly does not see you as her best option, right? She thinks you're just one of many, or maybe you're okay, but maybe another better one is coming, right? Now, if you finally convince her to marry you, what is going to happen in that relationship? What's going to be the power dynamic in that relationship? You've basically signed up for a life of her on a pedestal and you working overtime to please her. And sisters, unfortunately, hate it when I talk about this, right? Because this is the model we've been presented by society. A man's job is to please you. A man's job is to make sure you are happy. A man's job is to cater to you, etc. And the reality is, certainly as far as the deen is concerned, it's actually the opposite. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have taught us as women the importance of pleasing our husbands, of catering to our husbands, of looking after our husbands.
A good woman always wins no matter what she's been through, no matter what happens to her, no matter what anybody says, no matter who walks away, no matter who says no, no matter who tries to reject her, no matter who tries to play her. In the end, she's going to win, period. She's going to get every ounce of love, happiness, success, peace, and joy that belongs to her. She's going to get every drop of commitment, loyalty, and faithfulness that she asks for. She's going to go further. She's going to go faster, because a good woman is so good that God makes sure it all comes back to her. A good woman may stumble, but she will never stay down for long. She knows her worth even when others try to diminish it, and she rises stronger every time life tries to break her. No matter the setbacks, she's resilient, and her heart remains pure. People may doubt her, betray her, or take her kindness for granted, but none of that stops her from moving forward. She's built from strength, grace, and determination. Eventually, life will give her everything she deserves, and all those who underestimated her will have to watch as she flourishes, because a good woman always triumphs, and her light is too powerful to dim, and that's facts. Ladies, if you agree, drop 100 and follow up.
There's a post going around of a 53-year-old woman complaining about where are all the good men. She's an attractive woman for her age, and she was dating around, but the dates started drying up. Meaning she's attractive and the dates used to be there, and now they're not. Attractive women get a ton of attention. What are the odds of an attractive woman not having enough options to find at least one decent man? Those odds are 0. The problem is that she was in the top percentage of attractive women when she was younger. She stayed on the carousel, holding out for a perfect fantasy man, running up the body count in the process, and now she's priced herself out of the market. She's still attractive for her age, so there's no way she's not getting attention from men, but not the men she wants. She thinks she deserves top-tier men in her age range, but those men are able to get the 33-year-old version of herself. And when she does get the rare date with one of these men, she sabotages it. She is getting older. She has a high-ish body count from years of dating, and then she acts as if she's doing the man a favor. So they date for a couple of weeks, he bails, she adds another notch to the count, and concludes men are bad. There's a post going.
As men, we have to learn the power of reciprocation. And the reason we have to learn the power of reciprocation is because the man is the head. The man goes first. The man, you want to be a king, you want to be seen as a leader, you want to be seen as a real one, whatever the case, you lead. So however you want the woman to be, you need to be that first. You need to be transparent first. You need to be open first. You need to be authentic first. You need to open doors. You need to pay first. You need to do all those things first. And if she's a real woman, if she's a queen, if she's a goddess, if she's top tier, she's going to naturally reciprocate what you're bringing to the table. Men are supposed to submit first, not women. If a woman submits to a man, what is she submitting to if you're not providing something to reciprocate first? We are the people that pour. They are the people that receive. That's the reason why he set it up the way he set it up. So if we're not giving to them first, what do they have to pour back into us? When you learn to reciprocate, bro, Your love languages and your love life and the way that you provide and the way that you see women are going to change on a whole nother level, because you're learning that you're the giver, you're the provider. So provide her something to reciprocate, and you might be happy with what you get.
Let me tell you a little secret. She's not going to change. She's not going to get better. She's going to get worse. Not if you marry her, not if you communicate better, not if you're nicer, kinder, more good looking, more respectful, less demanding, more emotionally intelligent. If you are in a dysfunctional or an abusive relationship, let this be your sign. She won't change. You cannot love her into treating you better. She doesn't view you as a person. She views you as a tool, an object, a source of free labor, money, social capital. She'll never change unless something compels her to change. Giving her more of what she wants without any change in behavior is a disincentive for her to do better. She will only change when she is faced with losing something significant, when your relationship ends or is threatened. And even then, she will only create the illusion of change, not real change. She likely won't do the work. Don't give her more in the hopes of improvement. She'll only take more if you do.
Too often, I think we as black men are looking for submission, failing to realize that it has to be earned, and also failing to realize that submission comes with conditions and responsibilities. A woman doesn't just submit to a man. She has to do so on the basis that you're going to be able to uphold your end of this bargain. I'm hearing men, because they message me, they text me, Doc, we hear you. But how are we ever going to be able to be men if she doesn't allow us to lead? And my answer to that, good brother, if you are leading the way you're supposed to, you won't have to ask her to submit. She will do it automatically because it is her nature to submit to her, to submit to you. The problem with black men is a lot of us are not strong enough emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. We're not strong enough to attract a woman's submission. Submission is a quality that all women have, but only certain men can unlock it.
Why are men expected to act like a husband in a boyfriend stage, but you don't feel as though you need to act like a wife in a girlfriend stage until somebody chooses to make you a wife? Make it make sense. If you never displayed qualities of being a wife, why would anybody want to make you one? It sounds like women just never want to put any effort first. Like, we feel like we just have to offer minimal effort and that should be significant enough. That and the cat should just have it in the bag. I don't know about y'all.
I had an older lady tell me, a real man is not going to be ruled by a woman. Don't go down the path of expressing criticism, disapproval, and an ultimate lack of acceptance for your husband because it may cause rebellion. She's telling the truth. A real man is not going to allow himself to be a pushover to the woman he has chosen. Men with their sense of manhood and integrity and dignity intact have this innate desire and need to not be subdued and walked over. A real man is not going to be ruled by his wife. It insults his sense of manhood. Women who have succeeded in breaking their husbands such that their husbands allow their wives to rule over them, those are ultimately men who they find themselves no longer attracted to.
The kind of men that we should want to be with are the men who recognize our value from the beginning, not the people that you have to convince into seeing your value. And if someone recognizes your value from the very start, that's amazing. Yeah. And you also want to be with someone who has like the emotional capacity to be intentional from the beginning, not someone you have to prompt and push to be intentional. If they see you, they like you, they want to talk to you, they're all in. Those are the men that you have happy relationships with more than any other type of man. Yeah.
and you decide if it is an appropriate selection for you to be with this woman. You don't force her to change. You allow her to live how she wants to live, and then you let her know what you prefer. And give her time, but if she decides this is not how she wants to live, instead of being like, well, we got to do this, you got to listen to me, I'm the man, I'm this, you just say, okay, fair enough, I totally want you to live the life you want, but it's not compatible with the values and boundaries I have. Instead, what they do is they stay there, get really controlling, really aggressive, and be like, you need to listen to me, you need to... Instead, what you want to teach them is the relationship means something to you, you want to protect this relationship through boundaries, and you want them to meet you in the middle with that. If they do that, fantastic. If they choose not to, the goal is not to be with you, the goal is to have a good relationship. If you don't want this, we're not going to have a good relationship, so no worries, I wish you the best.
Here's some crazy research for you. So, a third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner. Even if you weren't to remarry, just have a partner. I mean, I've talked to a lot of men. I've got my answers, but I want to hear it in the comments. So please, drop it in the comments.
You know, if there's one thing that we have to give all due credit to today's modern women for, it's how they show us just how toxic their mentality is and how delusional the world is that they live in. It's why they run around saying things like this.
Men be like, I don't like women who wear makeup. Oh yeah? So why is the makeup industry still a thing? Why is it recession-proof, pandemic-proof, literally thriving and growing every year?
You gotta love it, don't you? Putting the blame on men for women buying makeup. And on top of it, having the absolute narcissism and audacity to say, men don't really want what they say they want. I know better than men what they want, and I'm gonna tell everyone what men actually want. Despite the fact that men overwhelmingly say they prefer women without makeup or very little, which is something today's modern women can't handle. They have to do everything they can to avoid having to take responsibility and find a way to blame men for whatever it is that's going on. Like, for instance, in this case, spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on expensive makeup, not to mention the hours and hours putting it on, to make themselves look and feel good, and in turn, blaming men for having to do it. Despite the fact that men are saying, we'd prefer you didn't do it. And it begs the question, since you think so little of men, as is clearly evidenced by your video, why would you care whether they want you to put on makeup or not? You're supposed to be strong and independent and make your own decisions. Well, if you don't care what men think, go without the makeup. Not just today, but every day. But we all know that ain't ever gonna happen, and we know why. Here's the reality that today's women will never acknowledge, let alone hold themselves accountable for. They love to spend money on makeup, and this is a way for them to justify doing so. Because in the female realm, the female world, having expensive makeup and wearing it is a sign of status. It elevates them above other women, at least in their minds, I should say. Oh, they'll never admit it. But really, that's what's actually going on. And the other reality they'll never acknowledge, let alone admit to, is that it's not actually men forcing them to put on all that makeup. It's other women. Because they live in fear of the cattiness and viciousness that other women will direct at them if they don't do it. Kind of like they do with the so-called pick-me's for daring to have a happy, healthy relationship. It's the very same mindset, just applied a little differently. In a nutshell, it boils down to one thing: where they and other women are going to fall in the female hierarchy. And before you all go screaming, it ain't the men that created that hierarchy. It's the women, which again is a reality they don't want to have to handle. It doesn't make them feel good. So they try and find a way to blame it on men. It's their toxicity on full display. And it's a large reason why men are done and walking away. We're tired of being blamed for every little thing that women do. And how you literally tell us we're wrong, that we don't know what we're talking about
when we tell you how we think and feel. Instead, you lecture us and decide for us how we're supposed to think and feel, and apply that to us. It also speaks to how women will do anything to make themselves feel better and avoid having to take responsibility or ownership. I get it, ladies. You're never going to hold yourselves accountable. You've proven that in spades, which is why you're all running around making videos just like this young lady did, because somehow in your minds, it makes you strong and independent to do so, when in reality, it just reveals how toxic and narcissistic you are. Ladies, you can keep doing what you're doing, but I ask you this, how's it actually working out for you?